The impact that the Denver principles have had on my life have been profound. They have given me a reason to feel empowered.
I'm both honored and saddened to be in the fight to continue to push these principles forward.
I connected to it from the very first statement. We condemn attempts to label us as victims, because I never considered myself a victim.
I've been an HIV activist for most of my life, so the Denver principles have been rules for me to live by for a long time.
The Denver principles have affected me, as well as everyone living with HIV or an AIDS diagnosis, by providing a framework of safety and respect.
Number 1, come out especially to their patients who have AIDS. Number 2, always clearly identify and discuss the theory they favor as to the cause of AIDS, since that bias affects the treatments and advice they give.
3, get in touch with their feelings, e.g. fears, anxieties, hopes, etc. about AIDS, and not simply deal with AIDS intellectually.
4, take a thorough personal inventory and identify and examine their own agendas around AIDS.
Number 5, treat people with AIDS as whole people and address psychosocial issues as well as the biophysical ones.
Number 6, address the question of sexuality in people with AIDS specifically, sensitively, and with information about gay male sexuality in general and the sexuality of people with AIDS in particular.
1, support us in our struggle against those who would fire us from jobs, evict us from our homes, refuse to touch us or separate us from our loved ones, our community, or our peers, since available evidence does not support the view that AIDS can be spread by casual social contact.
Number 2, not scapegoat people with AIDS, blame us for the epidemic, or generalize us about our lifestyles.
Number 1, form caucuses to choose their own representatives, to deal with the media, to choose their own agendas, and to plan their own strategies.
Number 2, be involved at every level of decision-making and specifically serve on the boards of directors of provider organizations.
3, be included in all AIDS forums with equal credibility as other participants to share their own experiences and knowledge.
Number 4, substitute low-risk sexual behaviors for those which could endanger ourselves or our partners. We feel people with AIDS have an ethical responsibility to inform their potential sexual partners of their health status.
To live as full and satisfying sexual and emotional lives as anyone else.
Number 2, to have quality medical treatment and quality social service provision without discrimination of any form, including sexual orientation, gender, diagnosis, economic status, or race.
Number 3, to have a full explanation of all medical procedures and risks, to choose or refuse their treatment modalities, to refuse to participate in research without jeopardizing their treatments, and to make informed decisions about their lives.
Number 4, to privacy, to confidentiality of medical records, to human respect, and to choose who their significant others are.
Number 5,
to die and to live
in dignity.
The impact the Denver Principles has had on the HIV movement
is to empower people with HIV like myself not to be invisible.
It was a statement, do not treat us with the stigma. You know, we are human beings. Treat us like human beings.
Everybody has benefited. We've all benefited from the Denver Principles.
By building caucuses and coalitions, we've been able to effectively fight some of the stigma. There's still a lot more out there. But when you compare it to the stigma that was going on in the 80s and 90s, I don't know that there are a whole lot of people, and I say that with air quotes because I really don't know. I haven't done the research, but I don't know if there's a lot of people that still believe that you can die from touching someone living with HIV.
It teaches people how to treat us, but it also teaches us how to respect ourselves and that we are worthy and we do have dignified lives.
We refuse to label ourselves as victims. We are people with AIDS.
The Denver Principles have impacted my life by allowing me the autonomy to be a whole person, to have conversations with my providers and have them really understand what I was saying.
I knew that I couldn't be fired from my job. I knew I couldn't be evicted from my home. And I knew that I could live freely and comfortable with my family.
And it also allowed for me to identify who I am as an individual outside of my diagnosis.
It's given me the responsibility to take on as many leadership roles as possible so that I can be at the table and, if necessary, at the head of the table to guide what is being done, what is being decided, what is being strategized, and what is being funded to help my people who are people living with HIV.
To address healthcare, you have to address human rights. They cannot be separated.
The way we move from patient rights to human rights is just acknowledging that I'm a human first and I deserve everything.
I'm not just a person living with HIV. I'm a lifetime survivor, a cisgender woman, a person with a uterus, a Mexican immigrant. I'm a woman of color, a person whose first language is not English, and I am a mother, among many other things.
Once we frame it that way, it personalizes it a little more. It gives room for a little more compassion.
We all, as humans, are born with the right to have a say in the conditions in our lives and to be able to bring our full selves into our communities, into our families, and into what we choose to do with our lives.